You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance, and that is my message. I do deliver it every day, and we only chat about items that affect the roof over your head and your bank account. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you, and you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it. While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a...
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
Sorry about that, guys. While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference. 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. And it is a serious day for us today because today, almost every day I discuss issues about what we are, a celebration day. Well, today is National PTSD Awareness Day. Observed annually June 27th, this is a day to recognize the effects of post-traumatic stress has on the lives of those affected by it. Post-traumatic stress disorder has a profound effect on the lives of those who suffer from it. Statistics alone are staggering, but can only tell a portion of the story. The trauma and anxiety associated with PTSD is a constant burden inseparable from the sufferer. It was once a condition that was attributed only to returning combat veterans, but more and more the condition is diagnosed in those who have experienced violent crime or lived through catastrophic events. According to PTSD United, 20% of adults in the United States who have experienced a traumatic event suffer from PTSD. And while I don't ever make light of this, that does not include the snowflake population that thinks that just because somebody they don't agree with somebody, that means that they've got PTSD or that they're in the same boat. Just remember, that's not the same thing. This is a very, very serious issue, and we chat about it with some of the people that really understand it on a regular basis. So one of the big issues, we've talked to Penny Lambright with her gang on this and her organization, Patriots and Paws, having some very, very serious and significant success with trained animals. And again, I hate when we constantly get to this issue where people, the snowflakes of the world, are out there trying to marginalize everything and then trying to game the system for everything. And what I mean by game the system is there are people that have a legitimate need for the service animals and the various types of animals. But think about this concept. If you are abusing that system, what's going to happen? I watch now, you go to a restaurant, I go to a couple different restaurants on a regular basis. People are waiting because they've got 1, 2, 3 dogs that they're bringing with them. 3 dogs.
This is ridiculous.
I can't understand that. They can't leave. Maybe they've got maybe the humans have separation anxiety. I'm not sure. But I'm just waiting for the day. When is it going to happen? The first time that the dogs, because these are animals. And I know your dog is the best trained animal in the whole world, but it's still an animal. And I'm wondering when the day is going to come that the dogs are going to bite somebody. And I'm not looking for this. I'm not hoping for this, but it's going to happen. The dog is going to bite somebody, an innocent bystander. The restaurant's going to get sued. Then they're going to start pushing back on all the animals that are coming to these facilities. Because even though everybody's got the best trained dog, you put a bunch of them together in a tight, confined place, there may be some issues there. And then the people that really need them are going to have a problem. And I hate to see that coming, but you're seeing that with the service animal. You're going to see it with service animals. I just heard a report today that you can bring any size animal on an airplane with you as long as it's designated a service animal. Well, you know, maybe there's a place. Maybe you're gonna have to start buying a seat for the animal. I'm not sure, but today is PTSD Awareness Day, and I think it's a good thing that we do watch and see and try and help wherever we can. Moving right along, Dow Jones Industrial Average, not a whole heck of a lot of excitement going on in the Dow Jones right now. It's up about 15 points, not a big issue there. Oil up 94 cents per barrel as I'm speaking to you right now. What is the effect that has on gasoline prices? Well, we're going to get into that one in a bit, but the average of a national average tank of gas, a gallon of gasoline, $2.25.4 cents. That's down again. Yeah, but in the state of confusion, we did not go down. We are at $2.95.4 cents. Compare that to South Carolina, where they're over $1 a gallon cheaper than we are here in Taxpayers. Just saying. U.S. Treasuries, they're moving up this morning. The 10-year Treasury, 2.199, up almost 6 basis points. That is a huge jump. Ow! Yeah, big jump right there on that one. I wonder if... Oh! Yeah, is what we're going to say about mortgage rates, because when the yield on that 10-year Treasury goes up, so do mortgage rates. They follow together with that. Oh! Yeah, not exciting. Moving right along, we're moving to California right now, Taxpayers, as I refer to it. But Taxpayers, we've got a new budget coming through. Have you followed much of what's going on in the Taxpayers budget? And fairly interesting articles I've been reading on this. And Governor Brown, I can't say I like watching him, because there's a serious problem.
Nothing like a little air superiority.
Yeah, whenever he starts talking, I get a bad feeling.
I got a bad feeling about this.
So Governor Brown is showing a chart of a balanced budgets, and followed by large budget deficits, while discussing his $124 billion revised state budget plan. Damn! So this was what he came out with on May 11th. But here's the issue. California voters pretty good at figuring out what's going on in the state capitol when it hits them directly. For example, recent polling shows that citizen awareness of the $5.2 billion gas tax, citizens are aware of that one, and not too happy about that as well.
This is ridiculous.
But the same can't be said when it comes to the more complicated and arcane actions of our state politicians, such as the annual California state budget process. The Californians are aware that taxes are very high. They've been watching their friends and neighbors moving out of state. Yes, voting with their feet, moving out of state at a record pace. They typically have little comprehension of where their tax dollars are going, and that's not surprising, since California ranks dead last in budget transparency, according to a recent study by the U.S. News and World Report. So here are some of the takeaways from the budget that maybe you want to know about. The first $125 billion in general fund spending. Largest budget in California history. Since the recovery began after the Great Recession, taxpayers have infused California's general fund with $41 billion. Ow! And special funds by $28 billion. That translates into a 63% increase since 2010. Property owners have done their part as well, with real estate values fully recovered and then some. Property tax revenues are up 72%. That's where our schools get the lion's share of their money. Second, the budget is only balanced if you ignore the debt.
More money, more money, more money.
Yeah, they always want more money. The majority party Their arms are so sore from patting themselves on the back for a balanced budget. But this is like a family celebrating the fact that they paid all their bills this month, but ignored the fact that they have a mortgage that's way beyond their means over the long term. California's pension debt is, by some measurements, close to $1 trillion. $1 trillion.
So I know whose ass to kick.
Third, the budget is, as usual, full of tricks and questionable accounting. One of the more dubious ploys involves borrowing from special funds. Yep. This year, there's a proposal to borrow $6 billion, that's with a B, from the state's surplus money investment fund to reduce the unfunded liability of the state's pension fund, PERS. While there is agreement that appropriating more money to PERS now helps to reduce unfunded liability in the future, that payment should come from current revenue, not a special account designed to cover ongoing operating expenses. Let's call this what it is, paying your Visa bill with the MasterCard. Think about it. Not a good idea. The budget is being praised for adding a couple billion more to the state's rainy day fund, technically called the Budget Stabilization Account, bringing it to over $8.4 billion. But do you remember the last recession? The budget shortfall was way more than that. Thus, while it seems like a lot of money, the state's reserve fund remains woefully inadequate. It's like your emergency fund that I tell you. Make sure you have 3 to 6 months in your emergency fund. If you don't have that, you got a problem. You can't save a penny a day for a couple of years and think it's going to be enough to fix the roof over your head when it collapses. Other trickery includes several dozen so-called trailer bills. These are supposed to be budget-related bills. Many aren't. They can pass with a simple majority vote and are not subject to citizen referendum. This is the stuff that they're hiding from you.
Nothing like a little air superiority.
Because they can be jammed through on short notice without citizen recourse. They are a favorite tool of the majority party to effectuate big policy changes. 2 examples of this are gutting the California Board of Equalization, one of the few state agencies in America actually accountable to voters, and a blatantly political power grab by changing the law as it relates to recall elections designed solely to throw a lifeline to a tax and spend Democrat who cast a deciding vote on the gas and car tax. Bottom line, the majority party has adopted laws and policies which will unquestionably push the state spending permanently higher by expanding programs, increasing welfare costs, and giving the political funders, labor unions, higher compensation via costly collective bargaining agreement. Unbelievable. This is what we have elected to the state of confusion, to Taxafornia, and we have to live with it now. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, the pre-approval, maybe the fast pass, should always be your first step in home shopping, home buying. And 6 things to do the day you retire, things that are cheaper in retirement. All that and more. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars from nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Cause and begin supporting a worthy cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission, lending partners will give a credit at closing, the title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the real-time real estate segment today, being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T to 79564, NEST, N-E-S-T to 79564. Find your dream home before someone else does. Put in the parameters of what you're looking for. You will get a text message every time your dream home or something similar to your dream home comes on the market. Now, if you're looking for a new home, the first step always should be chatting with a real estate or with a lending professional. The pre-approval process, that should be your first step. In many markets across the country, the number of buyers searching for their dream homes greatly outnumbers the amount of homes for sale. This has led to a competitive marketplace where buyers often need to stand out. One way to show you are serious about buying your dream home is to get pre-qualified or pre-approved for a mortgage before starting your search. Even if you're in a market that is not as competitive, knowing your budget is going to give you the confidence of knowing if your dream home is within your reach. Freddie Mac lays out advantages of pre-approval in the My Home section of their website, and I quote, "It's highly recommended that you work with your lender to get pre-approved before you begin house hunting. Pre-approval will tell you how much home you can afford and can help you move faster and with greater confidence in competitive markets," unquote. One of the many advantages of working with a local real estate professional is that many have relationships with lenders who will be able to help you with this process. Once you have selected a lender, you'll need to fill out their loan application, provide them important information about your credit, debt, work history, down payment, and residential history. Freddie Mac describes the 4 C's that help determine the amount you can qualify for to borrow. Number 1 is capacity, your current and future ability to make your payments. Capital or cash reserves, the money, savings, and investments you have that can be sold quickly for cash. Collateral, the home or type of home that you'd like to purchase. And credit, your history of paying bills and other debts on time. Getting pre-approved is one of the many steps that will show home sellers that you're serious about buying, and it often helps speed up the process once your offer has been accepted. And we're going to talk in a minute about the Fast Pass approval. Did you note that the word pre was taken out of that? Fast Pass approval. Bottom line, many potential home buyers overestimate the down payment and credit scores needed to qualify for a mortgage today. If you are ready and willing to buy, you may be pleasantly surprised at your ability to do so. And again, we talk about the Fast Pass approval. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment, again, brought to you by the area-trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text NEST, N-E-S-T, to 79564. And remember, I just shared with you, pre-approval, that is, there's really three different types of approvals you can get prior to going and doing the full, finding your home and getting into contract. You've got the pre-qualified, and basically what that's doing is somebody's taken an application and they've collected some documents. They may or may not have looked at them, but they've collected them, and with a cursory look, they've said, yes, you do qualify. Then you go to the next step. They've put this information into their loan origination software. They call it an LOS. And they've run what's called an automated underwriting system. It could be DU, the desktop underwriter, or loan prospector, LP. Those are two terms, the industry terms. You don't need to worry about those. But they could have run one or both of those and come up with what they call an approve eligible. And once they get that approve eligible, the next step there is for them to figure out, okay, we've got the approve eligible. What do we do with that next? Well, once you have that, then you go out and you say, I've got you pre-approved. What does that really mean? Well, pre-approval means that they've run it through that system. But remember, garbage in, garbage out. So if they put in bad information, well, they might get an approval at that point, and it really doesn't mean anything a whole lot more than the pre-qualification, other than the fact they've gone and put it into the underwriting system. They've run it through one of those services, and it comes back saying, yeah, you're going to be approved eligible, or maybe you're not approved. It's going to give you some sort of an eligibility. And it'll tell you some of the items that they need to do to validate that data. Well, the Fast Pass approval takes that automated underwriting approval and takes it to the next step. That next step really becomes the verification and validation of the data that was put into that automated underwriting system. When they've gone and done that, now they can go and you can go back to your real estate professional and say, you know something, I've got a Fast Pass approval. I am approved for a loan, and based on this letter that I'm giving you, you can check box J4 on the California Residential Purchase Agreement stating that you don't need to worry about any conditions. We've already done them all for the loan approval. Great, great service. The only one that I know that has that is our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. That's why I promote them on a regular basis. That is the Fast Pass approval. Now remember, I've shared this with many folks before, and if you look back on our YouTube page, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel the numeral 1 on YouTube, you'll see that there's a sign similar to this one right here in the past, and it may not have said Gold Star Mortgage. And the reason it may not have said Gold Star Mortgage is because maybe at that time there was somebody else that had a better program for you. I'm not opposed to changing who our service provider is, who our preferred lender is, based on who's got the best programs in the marketplace for you. That's what it's all about. I am your advocate. So even though they may help sponsor our radio broadcast, well, I am your advocate looking out for you, and that's what we're doing here on Ron Siegel Radio. It's good, some good information for you. Love to go to our Facebook page, chat with some of the folks that are on there. Robin, glad to see you again this morning, and yeah, I'm with you. Let's try and turn California red and make it great again. And like you, yes, I enjoy the state, but a lot of people are voting with their feet. You know, you get a lot of the politicians who feel that they're superior to all of us. They know better than us on everything. And, you know, people are starting to move out because they realize that California is not quite the place it used to be. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, credit card reward war. Is it helping you beat some of the credit issues? We will chat about that when we come back. We're also going to talk about some things to do the day that you retire. You can reach us anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Siegel Lending Team offers you buying power. Let's say you can afford a monthly mortgage payment, including principal and interest, of around $1,900. With today's rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage of 3.75%, APR 3.85%, that payment could support a $416,000 mortgage. But if you wait and rates tick up to around 6.5%, which is roughly the average home mortgage rate over the past 30 years, that same $1,900 mortgage payment, including principal and interest, may only be able to support a $314,000 mortgage. That's over $100,000 worth of home you're missing out on by waiting. That's buying power. All you need to do to get started is reach out to the Siegel Lending Team at 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Payment example excludes taxes and insurance. Call us for full details, 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990 or SiegelLendingTeam.com. Equal housing lender, licensed under NMLS number 217037.
Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Are you purchasing or own a luxury home? If you're like so many others, your home is your largest asset and the mortgage is your largest debt. The Siegel Lending Team has some amazing financing opportunities right now. Jumbo loans up to $2 million, 30-year rates below 4%, 15-year rates near 3.5%, and if you can believe it, 7-year interest-only hybrids in low 3s. The Siegel Lending Team has all the options for your jumbo or second home loan requirements. Take advantage of them while you can. To learn more about all the other financing products available from the Siegel Lending Team, call 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Again, call 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender.
Do you own real estate or have assets over $150,000? Do you know one of your heirs will be the probate courts and the IRS? If you don't have a living trust, you will go through probate. Call Heritage Financial Services toll-free at 1-855-434-7400 for a free review. Check us out on Facebook, Heritage Financial Service in Lake Forest, California. That's 1-855-434-7400. Again, 1-855-434-7400.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
What if your family business could help clothe a less fortunate family? Or your restaurant could feed truly hungry people? What if you could help to comfort the lonely? Plant sustainable resources where nothing has ever grown before? Or make a child's lifelong wish come true? What What if all you had to do was simply do nothing more than what your business already does every day? Would you do it? Introducing Processing for a Cause, a unique program that turns a percentage of your business's credit card volume into ongoing donation dollars for nonprofit organizations and foundations. Simply switch your credit card processing provider to Processing for a Cause and begin supporting a worthy cause today. The process is simple, and the cause will change lives forever. Processing for a Cause.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel lending team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel lending team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452.
Are you a veteran, police officer, firefighter, doctor, nurse, or teacher? If so, you qualify as one of Ron Siegel's VIP heroes, and we have rewards up to $5,000 or $10,000 when you buy, sell, or refinance a home with one of the Ron Siegel radio partners. As one of the heroes, real estate agents will rebate part of their commission. Lending partners will give a credit at closing. The title company has special published rates, and many other service providers have incentives too. All you need to do is call Ron Siegel Radio at 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit VIPHeroProgram.com. Just think about what you will do with all the rebates and incentives from the partners of Ron Siegel Radio. Just call us at 800-306-1990 so we can show you our appreciation for your service.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. In the Your Credit Matters segment today, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. You have a credit report? It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has the programs and the solutions for you. You just need to give them a call. Check it out. Credit Sanitizer. They've got some really, really good programs. And being that we know without a doubt that your credit report is wrong, why aren't you doing this? You should be checking your credit report on a very, very regular basis. There is no question about it. Your report is wrong. They're all wrong. That's why I know yours is one of them as well. And the idea here is if every one of them are wrong, now I've seen credit reports, I've seen scores. Wow, I've seen some, I think I've seen the lowest I've seen is I think in the low 400s. I don't think I've seen in the 300s yet. But I think I've seen in the low 400s. And even at that, and I've seen them in the, I think 834 I think is the highest I've seen. They all have errors on them, every single one of them. Again, like I say, it doesn't matter what the number is. They are all errors on those reports. So get a hold of our friends over there at CreditSanitizer.com. Make sure that your report is accurate. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect score. I want you to be accurate. U.S. credit card rewards war is helping beat debt. Credit beat debt. That is the whole issue. And here's the idea. Credit or debit, that's the issue. For routine purchases, Americans are likelier to say debit. U.S. card issuers would prefer a different answer. Credit brings in far more revenue. First, the bank charged higher interchange fees paid by the merchants on credit card purchases than if you don't pay off your credit card. The issuer levies interest and finance charges. So what's their strategy for getting you to use their credit card? It's temptation. Issuers have loaded up their high-end credit cards with travel perks and other rewards. It seems to be working. In a survey of U.S. consumers conducted every year by credit card processor Total Systems Inc., or TSYS, the popularity of debit has been falling for several years. In 2016, credit overtook debit as Americans' favorite form of payment. Last year was also when J.P. Morgan Chase launched a new premium credit card, the Chase Sapphire Reserve Card, to much fanfare. So many people signed up, most of them millennials, that Chase temporarily ran out of cards. American Express counterattacked in March by sweetening the perks on its premium card. An Amex executive said the company is in hand-to-hand combat with Chase to win over new card customers. That's the whole idea. Now, we talk about this in a lot of different arenas, but remember the main thing is when you have free enterprise, that's when you, the consumer, wins. Yeah, you, the consumer, will win when there is free enterprise because the card companies start getting into these battles, these wars. So you have these issuers offering better rewards to try and get the attention of you, the consumer. There's a war on among top players. Spending on both credit and debit cards generally rises each year as the economy grows and as cards gradually take more share from checks and cash. But credit card use has been accelerating faster. Remember, make sure you're paying those in the strategic manner that I've told you to do that. 2 payments every month. One right before the statement closing date, that's as much as you can possibly afford. And then one right before the due date for the minimum payment. So you want to leave a little bit over from the before the statement closing date, and then the minimum, or pay it off right before the due date, whatever works for you. But do both of those. Even if you just leave $10 and make a second payment for $10, it's going to get you some enhancements on your credit scores. Generational change could be driving some of these trends as the large millennial generation gets older. They're making more money and feeling more confident about taking out credit cards, said one of the analysts. I can't even say his name. Credit cards are most popular among Americans 25 to 44, both younger consumers who often have trouble qualifying for credit cards and older consumers. They prefer debit. Inundated by credit card promotions, these millennials are carefully choosing the cards with the best perks. Compared to older generations, they're just more savvy, he said. They scrutinize offers and deals. At the end of the day, they recognize credit as a tool. Still, there are dangers to chasing credit card rewards. Reward cards charge annual fees that can exceed $500 per year. Ow! They also tend to charge higher interest rates than other cards. The use of credit cards with rewards can be valuable, said financial counselor Willa Williams of Trinity Financial Coaching. You just have to be disciplined enough to make purchases for which you have the money to pay the bill. That's the obvious portion of that. That's the portion that a lot of people miss on a lot of the instances. That's what we're sharing with you on a regular basis, is how to deal with that. There is good debt and there is bad debt. I know there are some people out there that say all debt is bad. That's not the camp that I am in. That is the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by CreditSanitizer.com. Looking back at some more of the news that we didn't get to in the opening segment this morning, Hillary Clinton back in the news again.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yep. If Republicans pass Obamacare repeal, they're the death party. So I wish Mrs. Clinton would get the metaphors correct. Are the Republicans the death party or the deplorables? I just can't figure out which one that is. I just want to find out. Of course, then again, it is coming from Mrs. Clinton, who has proven in 2008 and 2016 she's very good at losing. Just a thought there from...
I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Yeah, that's Mrs. Clinton once again. Blasted the Republicans in a tweet over the Senate's GOP-unveiled bill that, in my opinion, liberates 23 million people from being forced to buy something they do not want. Yeah, that's my terminology. Liberating them from buying something they don't want. They've said over and over again that they don't want to be forced into buying health care, especially buying a product that they have not decided on, that somebody else has decided on. There are those people that are probably part of that 23 million who say, you know something, I make enough money that I only want catastrophic care coverage. And that's a good thing. We didn't get a chance to speak much about the CBO's score on the health care bill, because that came out after our broadcast yesterday. But they say, and here's again, it's a little bit of a misnomer, that we're going to save, again, their terminology, save $300 and some billion on our deficit. Doesn't mean it's going to cut down our debt, but it'll save on the deficit $300 billion. Why is that? Well, because they're making an assumption that those people that are not forced to buy insurance won't buy insurance. Well, I like the idea. Ted Cruz came out with the idea is each of the insurers keeps one plan that's similar to what's required under the Obama, not making it required, but making it available of what's under the Obamacare plan. But then they can come out with the other plans, maybe just a catastrophic care coverage, or maybe a scaled down coverage for the young people. Maybe the seniors want something that's a little bit more comprehensive. Think about all these things. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to talk about some things to do the day you retire, things that are cheaper in retirement. Still got a lot to cover. You can reach us anytime, though. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Connect with us, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio, on Twitter, @Ron Siegel. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Are you living in the home of your dreams, or simply where you think you can afford? Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey, and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Isn't it time you found out the truth about FHA-insured home equity conversion? No, it's not your grandfather's reverse mortgage. This just may be the finest financial planning strategy available for all homeowners of retirement age. Helping protect what you've earned is the job of your board of directors with continued education. Major research has shown that using a HECM significantly enhance the success rate of a retiree's portfolio and legacy. Please allow us to educate. For your complimentary consultation, call Jay Kaplan at 949-300-3855. That's 949-300-3855.
Are you currently renting a home? Do you like paying someone else's mortgage payment? Why not explore the options to purchase your own home? Can you imagine a 30-year fixed-rate loan below 4.25% APR? This means with $10,500, you can purchase a $295,000 home and have a principal and interest payment of about $1,400 per month. What are you paying in rent? Does your family deserve the opportunity to take advantage of the current market? To learn more about these exciting opportunities, the Siegel Lending Team is standing by to speak with you. Call now, 1-800-306-1990. That's 1-800-306-1990. Or visit SiegelLendingTeam.com. That's SIEGEL LendingTeam.com. Or 1-800-306-1990. Rates subject to change without notice. Licensed by NMLS ID 217037 and 145502. Equal housing lender. Not endorsed or sponsored by any government agency.
Do you have a goal of mortgage-free home ownership? What if your home was valued at $500,000? Are you aware that a free and clear home could be costing you $2,500 every month, $30,000 per year? The mortgage planners at the Siegel Lending Team would like to show you how you can own your home, generate tax-free income, and accumulate family wealth. You simply need to call the Ron Siegel Team at 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990. By sending the team a copy of your most recent mortgage statement, the team will send you a no-obligation real estate plan. You be the judge if this is right for your family. Again, all you have to do is send the team a copy of your mortgage statement by email to to REAP@RonSiegelRadio.com or call today. Ron Siegel, 1-800-306-1990. That is 1-800-306-1990.
Rate subject to change and without notice. Licensed by the California DOC and BRENMLS 217037 and 145502 and Cal BRE 01869452 and 1866775.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and as your consumer advocate, I will be delivering it every day or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, the Word on Wealth segment today. Being brought to you by Gold Star Mortgage when you're ready for that next mortgage, any mortgage. Gold Star has the programs, the products. You just need to give us a call at 800-306-1990, and we will put you in, we'll get you to the right person, and we'll get you that program that's really just right for you, because there are a lot of different programs out there. I heard somebody just recently that they never ever were asked about the idea of, they're never asked about the idea of if they were a veteran. You got to ask the questions, because there are a lot of them out there, people just wanting to understand what is the right program for them. And if you don't have that, holy cow, you need it. Things to do the day that you retire. That is the subject of our Word on Wealth segment. Well, you're going to celebrate. That's one big one. The day you finally got there. Saying adios to your job, settling down to a well-deserved retirement, huge transition, and getting off on the right foot will help ensure that you enjoy every moment of it. When you clock out for the last time, take these steps to help ensure a happy and financially secure retirement. Number one, add up your assets. If you haven't already done so, it's time to take stock of your assets. You should have done this already. These assets will likely be your primary source of income for the rest of your life. So it is important to understand exactly what you have and how much income you can expect it to generate now and in the future. Open up your most recent Social Security statement or go to the Social Security website and look it up online to find out how much your Social Security benefits will be each month. Next, take a peek at your investments, starting with everything in retirement savings accounts, 401ks, IRAs, and so on. Write down the total value of these investments in these accounts and the amount you have allocated between stocks, bonds, and other investments. If you have both tax-deferred and Roth accounts, jot those amounts down separately. You want to treat these accounts differently when you start taking distributions, because withdrawals from traditional retirement accounts are going to be taxable, while the withdrawals from Roth accounts will not be. Finally, list any other investments or cash assets you have, such as bank checking and savings accounts. Shift money into bonds, but don't overdo it. Many retirees have had it drummed into their heads that stocks are far riskier than bonds, which is true. So the first thing they do when they retire is get rid of all their stocks and put that money into bonds. The problem with this strategy is that bonds are guaranteed to return less than inflation over the long term. For example, say you put all your money into a 30-year bonds that will produce $50,000 per year in interest payments. 20 years from now, your bonds will still be paying you $50,000 per year. But because of inflation, that $50,000 will buy you a lot less than it did when you first purchased the bonds. Think about 20 years ago. What were you earning, and what was your lifestyle like at that time, and what would that be today? So what is it, 20 years ago, you could probably say that the median income, and I didn't look it up, it's probably $35,000, $30,000, maybe even less than that. What would that get you today? The solution to inflation problem is to keep a reasonable percentage of your investments in stocks. And yes, they are riskier, but they will also produce considerably higher returns over the long term. And that's what we're concerned here with, is the long term, because most of us in retirement are going to be there 20 or 30 years, ideally, right? So even if the market goes down like we had in 2008, 2009, well, 10 years later, look where it is. It's already significantly higher. So if you were out of the market in all that time, think of what that would mean to you. Fairly safe way to plan your asset allocation is subtract your age from 110 and keep that percentage of your portfolio in stocks with the remainder in bonds. Formula may sound familiar to you, as it's the same formula many people use to determine their asset allocation while they're still working and saving. If you've been using this formula yourself, you probably don't have much of a shift to make in your assets. If not, you may have some changing to do. Pick some high dividend stocks. Stocks are riskier than bonds, all right, but not all stocks are equally risky. There are a few of them that are paying more money in their dividends, even though they're blue chip stocks, than a lot of the bonds are. And it just so happens that many stocks pay high dividends, something to be desired when you're looking for steady income, belong to large, well-established companies with long records of stable performance. In other words, these are companies that are unlikely to suffer massive share price losses or otherwise run into trouble that would endanger the value of their stock. Putting your stock investments into these blue chip companies not only gets you high dividends and therefore income, but it also reduces your risk. You can try picking out your own high dividend value stocks, or you can simply choose an index fund that specializes in this. Calculate your distributions. There's a lot of contradictory advice about how much money it's safe to take out of your retirement savings each year without risking depleting them. While it would be nice if there were one simple number that would always be right, in reality there are too many factors that can influence how much you can safely withdraw, like your age, the performance of your portfolio, current and predicted economic pressures, and your health. The popular 4% rule worked for a while, but it has come under attack as being too risky for some retirees. I still like the 4% rule, especially given that Americans are living longer and therefore need their savings to stretch further. If you retire in your 60s and want to minimize your risk of running out of money, stick to distributions of 3% to 3.5% for at least the first few years of your retirement, and you get older. You can increase the percentage to keep up with inflation. If your portfolio has a good year with substantial returns, yeah, you may want to take out a little bit more. Do the math on the RMDs, required minimum distributions. The IRS requires you to withdraw a certain amount of your tax-deferred retirement savings account each year once you reach age 70 and a half. These RMDs can create a problem if they work out to be higher than the distribution percentage you had decided on. This is where it helps to have a Roth account in addition to your traditional retirement savings account, as Roth accounts do not have RMDs, and thus they can pick up the slack if you're forced to overdraw your traditional retirement accounts. Even if you have a few years to go before you need to draw your first RMD, go ahead and look up the amount you'll be required to take that year. Knowledge is always a good thing. Develop a distribution strategy once you've figured out roughly how much you're going to withdraw from your retirement accounts during the first year. The last step is to decide where that money will come from. Assuming you have a standard brokerage account, a traditional retirement savings account, and a Roth account, you want to turn to the standard brokerage account first that allows the investments in retirement accounts to continue growing tax-free. Next step is to tap the tax-deferred retirement accounts, partly because you'll have to take the RMD anyway, partly because distributions from these accounts are taxable, and while distributions from Roth accounts are not, ideally you take as much from the tax-deferred accounts as you can afford to. Remember that $16,122 Social Security bonus most retirees completely overlook. If you're like most Americans, you are a few years behind on your retirement savings. But a handful of little-known Social Security secrets could help ensure a boost of your retirement income. One easy trick, you could pay you as much as $16,122 more each year. And again, that's just a little trick. Give us a call, 800-306-1990. We'll put you in touch with the people that can help you with that little trick. I don't know all these tricks. I do know the right people to put you in touch with to help you to understand who they are, what they will do for you. That is the whole idea behind them. That is the Word on Wealth segment, again, brought to you by our friends over at Gold Star Mortgage. Yes, they are the only one with that Fast Pass approval. Gold Star Mortgage, the Fast Pass approval. Check them out. And be sure to set that first radio preset button. To come back here every day to join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to John, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990 or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money, help a lot of people, have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.